Surprise! Got my hair cut. I'm so happy. And then also my daughter is very happy. And my husband is very happy. He didn't tell me he didn't like it long. He said he was trying to be supportive, which is very sweet, but if he's got to look at me every day, I want him to kind of like it. And boy, do my eyes look crossed or what? Anyway, I guess it's because I'm looking not where the camera is. I don't know. Anyway, I am sewing these arced geese onto solids. So I had some requests for how I do that. So I'm going to show you what I do. First, we're going to work with the inside arc, and I'm using this navy blue fabric. The pattern directions have you cut it larger on the outside, so then you can trim down. So you see that little pink mark there, and there's a pink mark right there. That's where I will match my arc two right sides together. But first, I'm going to find the center of this arc by matching those two together. And then I come out here and I'm just going to make a little pinch. That's all I have to really do. I don't have to mark any more than that because it makes a little divot. See? Right there. So I'm going to match the center of this to the center of this, and that is this seam right here. So I'm going to match that and pin it. I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't squint, because I did that the other day and I thought, that doesn't look nice. I also like my extra fine glass head pins for this because they don't take up any room in the fabrics. So I'm going to mark where this pin is, where this mark is with a pin, and I'm going to mark where this mark is with a pin. Don't have the best lighting. I'm not into professional camera work. Hello! Husband just got home from work. I'm making a video. So I'm going to lay this. So you see that pin right there. I'm going to lay it perfectly straight with that, and I'll show you how I pin it, because that in and of itself is a trick of the trade taught to me by Judy Niemeyer. I actually did the second part first, so you're going to see this second part. Well, you'll see me say that about Judy Niemeyer. Okay, so I've got this where it's laying flat. It's not doing this or that. It is perpendicular. Don't ever talk with a pin in your mouth. It is perpendicular to that sewn edge, okay? And the fabric wants to move on you if you just pin it like you normally would pin. So what you do is you're actually going to weave that pin in and out so that you've got in, out, and now it won't move at all on you, okay? I'm going to go to the other side and pin the same way, laying that perpendicular to my seam, and I'm going to go in, out, like that. See? Okay. All this extra will be cut off later. Okay, so now I've got all of this that has to match up to this. So that can want to bunch up on you and pucker on you and make little pleats and make you say bad words. Well, what Judy Niemeyer had you do, which she has lots of curves in her patterns, is while we want to pleat and make it smooth up here where the seam allowance is going to go. So out here we don't really care what happens. So I'm just going to actually pin up some of this excess so that at my seam line it's smooth, And then what happened, I don't even pin it up at the seam line. I pin it out here I pin it out here. And the pin is nowhere near my seam line. So now I can see that that's gonna lay nice and flat for the rest of the way. But I'll put a pin in there anyway. So you see I've got that, but it's pinned out here at this edge, not up here. Up here it's matched nicely. So I'm gonna finish pinning this, and again I come over to past my center pin, and I'm gonna put another pin right there, make a little pleat. Oops, that's a bigger pin, but it's still fine. Okay. And I'm matching up there, and I'm pinning out here. Matching up here, and pinning out here. Oh, big old nasty pin. Where'd you come from? Okay. And now it's gonna lay smoothly the rest of the way. So now, I'm gonna move you down here so you can see me. Try to keep my hands out of the way. And this is my little leader and ender that I use so everything's nice and smooth. I've got my stitch length at 2.0, and I'm following along, and I'm keeping it at my 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm trying not to eat up any of my points. Trying, making sure I'm right on the inside of that seam where that point intersects with my 1/4 inch foot, and making sure I pick up here and not leave anything behind. So now I've checked that. There's no puckers on the back. And get rid of you. Get rid of you. And then I'll unpin these real quickly. And you'll see that there's not going to be any puckers in my upper edge either. Let me double check. Oh, looks good. So you can see that when it gets pressed, it's going to be nice. My points, saved my points. And then I will show you how to sew on the top part in the next video. Okay, I'm going to show you how I put the second part of the curve, this part on, with just 3 pins, and it comes out fairly well. The first thing you do is mark the center by folding these 2 in half. Mark the center just with the little crease, and I match the center to the center of my geese ring. And then I pin at the end, and you'll see how I've woven that pin in. I learned this from Judy Niemeyer years ago. Instead of just doing one like that, your fabric has a tendency to shift. So what she suggested, and I tend to do, is to lay that exactly in line and then weave that pin through just like that. And that's not going to shift at all. So I've got my machine set up. Let's see, it wants to shift. Okay, I've got my machine set up with a little, I don't know what you call that, a piece of fabric so that my threads feed through nicely. Okay, I'm just going to stop right here, and you can see that it kind of want to cups right in there. So I'm just going to take my hand and gently feed this through. I don't really worry about these little pleats out here because it's not in the seam line. So I'm not gonna be getting a pleat in the seam line. I'll just be getting it out where it's large, and that's the mystery of sewing together curves. So then I lay this right here. I'm not stretching anything. I am not pulling anything. I am just allowing the machine to feed it through with the 1/4 inch stitch. Now the directions had me cut this larger than it was supposed to be, because then we will square it up to 5.5 inches. So now you can see, I lost a couple of little points, but I'm not gonna worry about that. So now you can see that that is gonna press out just perfectly without pulling, without stretching, just laying it there and kind of letting it do its thing. And if you have to pleat up out here on the edge, that's okay, because when you press it, it's all gonna go nice and smooth.